Hey friends, let's take a few minutes and talk about the keto diet, okay? This is a diet that's been around about 100 years from one of the major medical schools, and it was derived from nurses and a couple of doctors wanting to help children with epilepsy, with seizures. And I'll be darned if it didn't do it. Folks, it was the first therapeutic diet that I know of. It was all documented. You put someone into ketosis, right? And that's a good thing. Not ketoacidosis, that's a bad thing. So there's so much mistaken activity surrounding the keto diet. The keto diet, well, let me show you a graphic comparing the Kaufman and keto. I think this is fascinating, folks. Number one, the similarities. You avoid fungal mycotoxin exposure, grain and booze free, and then I put that usually. I'll be darned if I didn't get it. We are so addicted to alcohol in America. I'm just going to tell you, we got a problem. We got a serious problem, folks. Think back to the paleo, the caveman. You think they broke a bottle of Chateau something and drank a little red wine? No. Think of those kids in the hospital 100 years ago that were recovering from epileptic seizures. Think they gave them a couple 12-ounce beers and that helped? No. It's us today. Even I saw the South Beach diet, the first couple of weeks, you can cook with booze, but then, after that, it's okay. We are addicted. You won't follow a diet if it doesn't have booze or grain in it. And basically that's what when I discovered that the keto diet, and this is 45 years ago, discovered it was grain-free, I thought, what a good idea, because mycotoxins, fungal metabolites, grow on grain. And then, I discovered it was booze-free. Folks, it's when man enters the equation. All diets, well, a little booze is okay. No, it's not. Why? Ethanol is a known carcinogen. Booze. I know some of you enjoy a can of beer or a glass of wine. Just know what that is. It's a fungal metabolite, right? So understand that when we talk about the Kaufman and the keto diet, usually, importantly, they are booze-free and grain-free. Why the grains? Because grains are impregnated with mycotoxins, and we don't want that, okay? Then they're high, both the keto and the Kaufman, high in medium-chain triglycerides. Now, that's another one, folks. I remember my mom one time at a grocery store saying, no, that's butter. I want margarine. I don't remember her saying this, but I'm sure the attitude was, I care about my kids' health. Margarine? Mom, what were you thinking? It's all PR, folks. Food industry, it's all spin. Get you out there. To heck with what God put here, butter. We're going to come up with some chemical thing called margarine and make mom spread it on. And restaurants, I live in a small town. I'm telling you, one of the biggest restaurants out here doesn't have butter. They'll hand you a little thing of margarine. 2019. When you're following a keto diet, my brother called me the other day. He's down 30 pounds. He's been on this a couple of months. And my problem is, I walk into health food stores like you do, and I'm looking at keto fats and keto vitamins and keto fiber. There's really one product, KetoMed, that Alan sat down with me years ago and said, look, I'm sick. I want to be on the keto diet exclusively, but how? And he brought in all these products he bought. He probably spent, $400 on all these products, and we looked at them. You're kidding. Sugar? Soybean? You got to be kidding me. Maltodextrin. This isn't what the kids at the hospital have when their seizures went away. What an exciting day for medical science. You mean food can help a person through a neurotoxic seizure. Yes, it can, the right food. We're steering off a little bit here, folks. We're going away from the keto original diet. We need to get back on the real keto diet. To the best of my knowledge, and I have no, dog in this hunt, I don't own stock in any KetoMed company or any keto company. KetoMed is as good as it gets. Alan and I are going to go over to the kitchen. We'll show you how to mix this up and swallow it down. So good. Alan North is one of the leaders when you understand ketogenic diet. You understand he's been around it for 20 years, and the diet itself is probably 80 or 90 years old. You're young, that's why. But Alan, that's exactly my point. A brand new, younger generation going to gyms, reading, intelligent, younger, our kids and grandkids, are maintaining this. What started as a take away my symptoms of seizures is now a very popular diet called a ketogenic diet that's followed. You've added something to that whole industry, which I'm very proud of you for, but it is interesting that the younger people are thumbs up to the keto diet.
Yeah, and it makes sense because you've heard of, essential fatty acids or essential amino acids, protein. We need protein, we need fats to survive and live optimally healthy lives. There's no essential need for carbs. We don't really need sugar. We don't really need carbohydrates. So it does make sense. And we were designed to operate. It's like our bodies are operating systems. And if we eat too much sugar and carbs, we're just going to fuel off of glucose, which is not as clean burning of a fuel as ketones. So when we ingest higher fat, restrict carbs to a certain extent, then all of a sudden you're operating naturally off of two forms of energy, ketones, glucose.
I know you and your friends, some trainers we know, actually are big proponents of the keto diet, but I'll never forget a couple of months ago, a personal trainer who is well known, and I like her, recently stepped forward and said, okay, be careful of this keto. She had her own thoughts on it, and she was both ridiculed and supported. So this is really a controversial area. Why would someone criticize?
She was basing it off of flawed research. Not flawed research, but research that didn't apply to a ketogenic diet. She's talking about rodent studies that involved a high-fat diet in the form of corn, inflammatory corn oil, but in combination with glycemic carbs.
Oh.
And then the thing about the keto diet in the fitness world, a lot of the fitness people are gravitating toward it because based on research, we now know that, and this kind of goes, it's sort of counterintuitive, you always hear you need high protein, and the keto is sort of moderate in protein. It's not real high, it's higher in fat than protein. But what happens when you're in that ketone, that natural, healthy ketosis, it has what's called a protein sparing effect. In other words, it holds on to your lean body mass, and it also helps regulate metabolism. See, when people try traditional diets, and a lot of people can relate to watching us right now, I've tried the traditional diets. It not only doesn't work, but I keep gaining weight. And that will happen typically. And so if you don't respond to those traditional diets, then the keto higher fat might be the metabolic solution to your fat loss.
There's a difference, folks, between burning your carbohydrates, grains, etc., for energy, and burning your own fats. And that's done through a process called ketosis, right, Alan?
Ketones feed healthy cells, and unhealthy cells cannot use ketones. Fungus cannot use ketones. Cancer cells cannot use ketones. That's why they're putting a lot of people with different chronic illnesses, especially brain neurological issues like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cancer, because we know, I mean, this is based on the old theory of the Warburg effect and some modern research done by Thomas Seyfried, that we know that ketones, cancer cells cannot feed off of ketones. They can't survive off ketones. They need glucose to survive. So when you go on a strict keto and you block glucose and you block insulin, those unhealthy cells don't have anywhere to, they have nothing to fuel off of.
So weight loss ensues. Okay, so what Alan's done, folks, and this is really the genius. This took almost 3 years and a lot of money. I found a product the other day that was $89, a keto meal replacement, but it only had 15 servings. What Alan has done is really genius. If you're following the Kaufman, the paleo, the keto diet, here's a supplement, a scoop. Shake it up, drink it down, maybe for lunch. It's cheap, and it really helps. Alan, thank you for coming in today and continuing my education. I'm still learning from you after all these years and their education. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, pleasure.